Are you aware? Are you aware of the $500 million?
The $500 million.
You can't speak.
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming, sir.
You have to speak through me.
No. You can't say so.
That's the rule of the
Listen, now listen. We have rules here. It's just like when you go to your EXCO chamber, you have rules. So you cannot speak through him. He represents an entity. He has to talk. Yeah, he works on that, but you refer to him. I don't have a problem with that if he's under your ministry. Please, can you pass the message to the Honorable Minister? 849 million, that's what Nigeria enters into, Abi. So how much did Nigeria sign on the agreement? And the Minister of Transportation has no detail about that. Please, Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I want to further make this clarification. If we are talking about the commercial contract, usually the amount will be stated in that contract. Usually. So the implementing agency that is managing that contract should be able to have that information available. But what I have here in the brief we have prepared is the loan agreement for the project was signed on the 20th of December 2010. Yes. And is for the construction of a standard gauge railway track, 186 kilometers. And the implementing agency, the Ministry of Transportation, the contractor is CCECC. And from the record that I have here, the sum involved is $500 million United States dollars. Yes.
You heard him clearly. The responsibility of Minister of Transport is to implement the contract. Who pays the contractor? Minister of Finance. How does Minister of Finance pay? When we sign that the contractor has done its responsibility, two parties will sign to China. Minister of Transport, it goes to Minister of Finance, right? Then they revert to China and they are paid. So our responsibility is implementation. And the invitation I got, and I want the committee to please put this at the back of their mind, is to come and explain about the loan. So I'm here. And I've said to you that loan activities rest with Minister of Finance. Contract activities rest with Minister of Transportation.
Thank you. Minister of Finance, what is the duration of this?
About the duration.
When you exit this.
Is it loan agreement or the project itself?
On the project.
The project?
Yeah.
It is usually in the commercial agreement, which is essentially being run.
Yeah, but you're part and parcel of people who signed those deals.
We didn't sign the commercial agreement. The commercial agreement is between the implementing agency and the contractor. What we do is to contract the financing and make it available for the administration of the project. But the details, the EPC, all the details of the contract is being managed and superintended by the implementing agency.
Okay, before I go to the Minister of Transport, what were the considerations that led to this taking of this loan facility?
The desire of the federal government to fast-track the development of critically needed infrastructure in Nigeria. And given the fact that the nation did not have the resources to finance this project, that led the FGN to consider.
Can you clearly update us, this Honorable Committee, on the status of this project vis-a-vis the loan agreement? I'm coming, just.
We will not be in a position, well, let me just go to the details. Yes. Like I said earlier, Mr. Chairman, as the contract, the loan amount is 500 million US dollars. The date the contract was signed, sorry, the loan agreement was signed was 20th December 2010. And then we have the terms and conditions of the loan, which is what we have detailed in.
What are the terms and conditions?
Yes, it has a maturity period of 20 years, a moratorium of 7 years, interest fee of 2.5%, commitment fee of 0.2%, management fee of 0.5%, and the duration of the construction is 5 years.
So what is the current status?
I think it's a completed project now, because it's already in use. It's completed. It's a completed project.
Honorable Minister, do you agree with that?
The letter I got from you said, come and talk about loans. And I'm here on that position. When you summon me, and like you know, there's no time the House will summon me and I will disrespect the House as a former Speaker of the State Assembly. So at all times that I'm summoned, I must comply with that.
Honorable Minister, I just want to...
But in terms of...
Let me interject a little bit. I'm just telling you now that we just received this document not up to 1 hour ago. And you expect us to ask you questions.
Chairman, that will show you that we are not even prepared. And the reason why we're not prepared is that we don't take loans. The letter inviting us say we should come and discuss loans.
You also cannot separate your ministry. Because if the Ministry of Finance is going to secure loan on behalf of Nigeria for your own ministry, you cannot separate your ministry from it.
Okay, Chairman, that means all ministries cannot...
That's what I'm saying. At any particular point in time, the representative of the Minister of Finance, can we separate the Ministry of Transport when securing a loan that concerns that ministry?
Usually, the team that goes for loan negotiation for any particular project will include the relevant agency that will implement the proposed project. In addition to that, you will have the Debt Management Office, the Ministry of Finance, and sometimes the Office of the Attorney General. That has always been the composition of the team that usually goes for loan negotiations for any particular project.
You want to?
We'll take a convenient date for him to come and brief us on the implementation.
My chairman should be saying this, but I know he will say that for emphasis. This committee is not and will not put an end to the project ongoing. It should be on record. It is not the intention of this committee to stop any project that is ongoing. This committee represents the Nigerian people, and the Nigerian people have questions, and we will ask those questions to get answers for them. Honorable Minister, by the grace of God, you have been in government for as long as I became a mature person. If, like my honorable colleague submitted, it is time you need, these agreements are tripartite kind of agreements. The person giving the loan, the Nigerian government, which is being propelled by Minister of Finance, and then the implementing agency. There is no way we'll come here and we'll sit and we'll get all the answers we want from finance. We also need your ministry, and we need you. And this committee is not in any way antagonizing what Nigerian government is doing. As far as we are concerned, Nigeria is lacking in key infrastructures. And if we can get good loans anywhere in the world to finance this infrastructure, this committee will even recommend for more. There is no economy in the world that have survived outside loans, including the Chinese economy today. American economies and all of them, they have always used loans. The only thing we want to know, more facts about loans. For instance, Minister of Finance told us they secured a loan of $500 million US. The project in question from your director of finance, he said 849. Is it that Nigeria came in with counterpart funding? We also need to know. So by the grace of God, Honorable Minister, I know you have been around this assembly for almost every day. I've been seeing you one committee or the other, but because Nigerian people want question, and your ministry, sir, is very, very key and very critical to the survival of our economy, particularly with the railway sector, which is something we have been trying to take off for a long time. Under your watch, sir, a lot of improvements have gone on there. I also belong to the Committee on Land and Transport, which we oversight you. We are always in contact. We've gone to Ibadan. We've moved from Lagos to Ibadan on the rail. In fact, as of last year we were there, what was remaining was just the station. Coaches are coming in. There are a lot you are doing for this, but this is an opportunity. Okay, Chairman, thank you, sir. Please, I want to get clarity. My question specifically is, I want to get clarity on the difference, sir. Before, even if you are joining, we got 48. It's okay. We got 849 from the Ministry of Transport, and we got 500. That's a discrepancy. I just want to be on the same par.
How consensual is this interest rate, especially when juxtaposed with the prevailing economic situation of the country and exchange rate of Naira to dollar?
As at March 31, 2020, repayment of principal was $96.15 million.
Principal, no interest?
Interest has been paid too. But the outstanding balance on the loan is $403.85 million.
Hold on, can you tender that document to us, please?
Yes, sir.
Document you are reading from?
Yes, sir. It's the status of China loans that were obtained.
Yeah, you can tender the document to us. Does it actually reduce the balance on the amount of interest due?
Interest is paid on outstanding principal, so we pay interest on what is left. Now the original loan amount was 500. It is reducing to the balance now.
How many years remaining?
It's maturing in 2030. So there are 10 more years.
There are 10 more years. We've spent 10 years now.
Yes, sir.
Have you experienced any undrawn or uncancelled balance on the facility? Is that?
The DMO is also in a better position to answer that question.
But you understand the document you signed?
Yes.
Can you take this committee to that document?
You are talking about the loan agreement?
Yes.
Purchased by using the proceeds of the facility shall be purchased from China preferentially. The technical standards to be used for the
Shall be what?
Shall be purchased from China preferentially.
Preferential. Is that what the ministry did?
Yeah, because it's a preferential buyer.
It's a condition to getting the money.
Yes, it's a preferential buyer credit.
Honorable Minister, we want you to go straight to his question. The preamble is not needed.
No, sir.
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. Whether Nigeria reactions to such an issues in terms of loan agreement, because I've also seen from the Ministry of Communications when Nigerians sign off some certain level of sovereignty. If part of the clauses are breached, please can we come down? If part of the clauses in that agreement is breached, I've also seen. So when National Assembly reacts in this manner to questions on level of agreement being entered by any ministry of this country and any other nations, we have every right to question that, because anything that is going to happen will happen to our generation unborn. So we have right to question those things. Whether we get it from China or not is immaterial. The most important thing is that we must save and protect our people as regard agreement, because most of the agreement that has been signed, the National Assembly have no knowledge. Even details of the information, details embedded in that agreement is not forwarded to you when they are demanding counterpart funding. Details of those information are not forwarded to you. You don't have even the detail clause by clause, which you ought to do. in line with your management DMO, in line with the act that established you. We needed to know those details even before going to sign such an agreement. But those details are not provided to Parliament. So we have right to question the Honorable Minister.
I insist on the right to fair hearing.
Yeah, fair hearing depends on the question
No, sir.
and
No, sir. The fair hearing is for me to speak and defend what...
No, you raise an issue.
I didn't raise an issue. He raised an issue.
No, I'm coming, sir. I'm coming.
He raised an issue.
Can I clear this? Can I clear this? You started by insinuating that whatever we have been talking, that you listened to the Honorable Member when he was presenting his issue in the floor of the House. By the time we come that these people will not be able to give us loan again because of the issues we are raising. And it is based on that the Honorable Member reacted and asked you a question. I said, those issues are immaterial. And I should go straight to the question. Is that not what I'm saying?
Chairman, the right to fair hearing is to determine how right to ask.
Okay, go ahead now. Go ahead.
Unfortunately for two of us, Chairman, I was also a member of the House. And I know that the responsibility of the House does not include asking DMO to give you the documents before he signs. There are two responsibilities in the Constitution that are allowed to the House. The function of oversight and the function of lawmaking. The function of oversight includes investigation, which is why we are here, sir. If the executive passes all documents they want to sign to the legislature may not be able to see it because there are too many documents that we sign every day. Now, in response to what you're saying, I do not at all subscribe to the House.
What means are you teaching us oversight?
No, sir.
Chairman, you know why I say so?
Chairman,
I'm coming. I will give you time. I will give you time. You know why I say so? Some of us also have master's degrees in legislature as subjects concerning legislature. And you and me know that I've been in this business since the past 20 years. So I understand the oversight clearly. I know the extent upon which the National Assembly or the legislature can embark on oversight. Oversight can embark on three key different ways: at the beginning, at the middle of implementation, and at the end of implementation.
Chairman, you know when I said that, I say, allow my foolishness, then you can come with your right. This government outside Nigeria, they are sensitive to what you say. Nobody is stopping you for investigation. No government outside Nigeria or Nigeria can stop you for investigation. We were saying that if Nigeria has applied for 3 loans already, 3, Port Harcourt Maiduguri, the Minister of Finance told me here that she was stopped and told that the next loaning plan will not be approved unless you get Port Harcourt Maiduguri. Port Harcourt Maiduguri goes through the southeast and the northeast. The only south town in Port Harcourt Maiduguri is Port Harcourt. We're about to apply for loan. They will not grant that loan. Then you summon us back to the House and say, why are we consulting Lagos County and we're not consulting Port Harcourt Maiduguri? The appeal I was making initially was, can we be allowed to get this loan? Then you can summon us. Not to start what you're doing, and the whole process will then be stopped. Because even me...
And I refer you to a law enacted by this country. I refer you to Debt Management Office Establishment Act. No external loan shall be approved or obtained by the minister unless in terms and conditions shall have been laid before the National Assembly and approved by its resolutions. These are laws of this country.
Chairman, if you allow me speak.
Please go ahead.
There is no law
I can tell you
taken by this government that is not approved by this House.
And you brought,
so why are you
and you brought all the conditions?
There's no document to send. There's no document to sign in China. There's no problem.
I remember you are seeing it now.
No, before the Senate committee.
We're talking about House of Rep.
The law says to the Senate committee who approves it.
The law didn't say us.
No, the Senate committee that approves international loan demand for all these documents.
Where is the law that says so? Can you refer me to
Chairman, I therefore keep quiet. Because you're
no, can you refer me to that law?
You're both chairman and minister for transport. Since I can't speak, then if you do the speaking,
I don't think so.
I'll do listening.
No, see, listen. I've always availed time for you to defend it. No, all I wanted is that you refer to a law that mandates Senate committee. I say, show us the law.
Chairman, the Senate committee required us in applying for international loan We'll furnish them with all the documents. The National Assembly must approve. I think we'll furnish in that Senate committee with all the available documents that is needed, for which the Senate approved the loans. So there's nowhere in this country that an international or even local loan will be approved, will be taken without the approval of the National Assembly. It will not happen. It is against the law. I continue to tell you this, Mr. Chairman, that there is no day until I die that I will disrespect this House, because I was one of the speakers. Now, Mr. Chairman, in responding to him, I had said to you that my fear is that at the end of the day, some sections of this country will suffer if they stop giving us loan. Two more projects that will suffer. The first one is Lagos-Ibadan. Have we finished Lagos-Ibadan? They've not finished its busing. We are asking for a loan to commence work from Ibadan to Kano. And the day they say, oh, look, the government is not supporting the loans people are taking, we are no longer giving you. That is the end of the project. I completely concede to you, Chairman, and to the House, of your power to investigate, to oversight the executive. But in oversighting the executive, there's what is called national interest. Mr. Chairman, you don't suffer the pressure I suffer when I travel down east, and I'm being told that we're not doing any railway in the east. Again, Mr. Chairman, the economy of this country can only be propelled by transportation. And the roads are not being completely fixed because there are too many. Therefore, the emphasis of the government is to fix the railways. So, no problems. I only sought approval that, look, we don't mind these investigations. Can we shift it to December, January, when we would have possibly gotten this close? Once we get this close, Chairman, turn me upside down, I will answer you.
Okay, can I ask you a question, sir? I want the progress of this country. We are partnering on this business. In going forward, those key areas, this agreement signed, those projects it has attended to, we want to know every money that has been released. Counterpart funding that has also been addressing such a project. The payment of this loan, how far have we gone? At what stage are we? We want to know those things. When we know those things, asking you to go ahead, because the project coming to the east is critical to Nigerians. The people must facilitate business in the southeast. You must facilitate business in the south, where me and you are from. I'm not against it. But in going forward, we must be able to have information so as to appreciate your own work.
If you listen to what I said, inside your government, you're not accepting the loan. The government is disagreeing on this loan. And I told you there are three critical loans that we should.
I don't think we are disagreeing. You are getting it wrong.
No.
We say we want transparency on the movement.
Chairman, please now. Can I finish? Can I finish, sir?
There's nothing wrong in press being carried along. That is one. Two, we are not damaging the image of this country. Now, we are looking for transparency, which even the Chinese government wants. We want to see how the process are going. That means there's checks and balances. That's what we're talking about. I have not accused the minister of misappropriating the money. I have not, in any way. Neither have I accused the executive of misappropriating it. We're saying, let's cite the document, Abi, and let us see whether the document we are citing is in line with our approval. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. That is these documents now. Is it in line with your approval? When they submit those counterpart funding, the approval we did based on these loans, then we peruse it and peruse the document that is available to us. Then we'll be able to appreciate, say, Minister is doing very, very well. And we'll pass a vote of confidence on him. Is that what we're talking? The answer is no more than this. Yeah, please.
I represent the people of Askra of our federal constituency of Borno State. Mr. Chairman, I think you are actually taking a round hole when it comes to dealing with this type of issues. And our minister is also a highly enlightened person. But I want to observe that whenever he uses National Assembly, he only mentions the Senate, that the Senate has approved. Sir, I think when it comes to budgeting and loan issues, we play a very vital role as well as the Senate. And even if they approve, we too have to approve before things go ahead. And I think our chairman was right in saying we need to see all the documents before we can go forward. Thank you very much.
Now, can we be able to have the prepayment plan going into the next 10 years?
Yeah, it's also the responsibility of the DMO. They handle all.
Can the DMO work without the finance?
Once
I'm asking.
No, they cannot work without.
Yeah, so why are you taking the responsibility?
We will provide that, sir.
Thank you. You're making a point.
Yes, sir.
I think the minister wants to talk.
If there were no reasons, if there were not, I'm surprised that the civil servant is keeping quiet. I'm surprised that you're not saying that we're under pressure on these issues. You're saying yes, I am. Because at the end of the day, the loan was to be given in June. It's been shifted to December. These are all the pressures.
You want it. My colleagues have suggested a kind of a roadmap in dealing with this issue. Now no members have perused this document. Now this document was just submitted to us 1 hour ago. Can we say we shift our meeting with you for the next 2 weeks? Why probably you provide more details for us? We want to be educated on this.
Chairman, I can speak to you on everything happening in the Ministry of Transport. I can speak to you on the roads. I can speak to you on the construction. I'm only arguing that.
We are saying let us be in the same page with you.
Yes.
As I define oversight. As oversight, beginning, middle, and the end. And you're also appreciating the working of the legislature. And in going forward, at the end of the day, when we begin to ask for performance in this thing, we already have, because we are dealing with you bumper to bumper. And we are following you up and appreciating the good work the executive is doing based on the preparation that has been laid out. So I believe that in going forward, since we receive this document, we will give our members the opportunity to go through it at their own places. And it will also afford me the opportunity to appreciate the kind of work we are doing. And at the end of the day, we come to the table and discuss this thing in the next 2 weeks.
The time you fixed was not good for me, but you come first. Whatever the assignment I had to keep it to come and answer the summons of the House. So at the end of the time you say come, I will come. If you wake me from sleep, I will discuss what is happening in the Ministry of Transport. The Ministry of Finance will tell you, even if it's corruption, it is a difficult issue to discuss when it comes to this place because they are not paid here. They are paid in over there. Even the capital funding, they are paid directly to the contractor. So what the Ministry of Transport does is, where are the engineers? Let's go and measure whether you have done according to the contract. Before we recommend to the Ministry of Finance, who then recommends to China for payment. That's how it's done. But you see, when you hear me say the things I'm saying because thank God he said they are also getting pressure, but I'm getting more of the pressure. Now listen, there are rumblings up there in China, and there are loans you have asked for. If your government is not in agreement with this, don't forget that there are all sorts of allegations against China here and there. If your government is not in agreement with this, we can stop. And the moment you stop, different things will happen. Lagos Ibadan is not completed, and I want to put on record so that if it happens, they will know that I said it. Lagos Ibadan is not completed. Ibadan to Kano is.
I think you are Minister. I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. When you are mentioning Lagos Ibadan and you are mentioning Enugu, you are trying to blackmail this committee.
How?
I'm coming. You are trying to blackmail this. You are trying to push this committee against Nigerians. The only thing I want to look here is this.
You heard me say that I had a private discussion in which I made this request. Privately.
Can we please?
And it wasn't granted.
Please, sir. This committee is guided by rules. Why I'm saying this clearly is this. The documents we have gone through, not only this document, we've not gone through this. The variations on rate and interest rates in many other documents. those variations, we'll ask Ministry of Finance how manage these variations are. Those are the things we look out for here. We're not saying that somebody is corrupt. Why do you sign these documents different from this interest rate? And you sign it at the same time. So those are issues that comes up on communications and Ministry of the land ministries that we're going to ask us and interrogate. We're not saying because money is not paid directly to people in this country. It's paid to the district. We have seen the agreement here. We have also seen clause where sovereignty is waived if we default. We have seen it in the document. We have seen it in the document. It's not in the document. The sovereignty of our country is waived. And I believe that that particular clause is not part of the thing they brought to the National Assembly to approve. Because no National Assembly members will look at that clause and approve such. So, you in your own way, you might be right in what you are doing to defend this country when signing. You're reaching a disagreement. Others might not be so. So we must take a critical look at them one by one. This committee has not been functioning in National Assembly before, but now the committee has started functioning. And we must use this committee to defend Nigerians. That's all we're after. So if in the next 2 weeks you are free, give us a date. No, I don't want to take date. It's a consensus issue. It's a consensus issue. Okay, Clark, can you give us a date next 2 weeks? You want to ask it? Okay, please go ahead.
Director Legal, it's presumed in every agreement there was a consideration, is it not? As a lawyer. Sure. I just want to adumbrate on one side the issue raised by the chairman now, the issue of sovereignty of Nigeria. I'll come to that. Are you not surprised to hear here? And in terms of consideration means the amount involved in the agreement, is it not? And that's supposed to be in the legal agreement. Are you not surprised to hear in this meeting now that the amount that is contained in your own agreement is different from the one from the ministry? Are you not surprised? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised, right? $500 US dollars. $1 million.
That's correct. Before the press goes out. $849 million. What we borrowed is $500 million. The project is 849. The rest is counterpart funding for the project. So that you don't say there's a discrepancy. There's no discrepancy. $500 million borrowed, 300 something million. So I don't go out saying, oh, Minister of Finance.
Okay, follow-up question. I'm not finished.
No, there's nothing like that.
I've not finished. Yes. Now, as the director of legal, do you supervise the projects? Do you know about the projects for which papers have been sent to you for further payment? Do you see those payments? Do you go? Do you have people that do that?
We are also abreast of the progress of work done. So we appreciate the certificates raised. We believe they fairly represent the measured work done for which the certificates are normally raised and sent over to China for settlement.
You find out that the major part of the labor, that is the employment, goes to China. Now, does that not contradict the local content law?
Agreement is what the Ministry of Finance contracts.
They don't sign. They don't do the nitty-gritty.
So the commercial contract. Yeah. That is where you have all those issues.
All those details.
Yes, that are raised beside. It is the responsibility of the implementing agency to ensure compliance with the local laws and regulations.
There is no here you will have workers, and Chinese workers will be more in number than the country that is benefiting from the loan. In fact, they are limited to a number of participants they can bring in. The first rule is that anywhere we have an expert, they cannot bring in. They cannot bring anybody. It has to be our people. Two, there's what is called transfer of technology. Because the problem will be you finish construction, you dump it on us, and you leave. and we can't manage. So our own people, even when they say, oh, some of our engineers are not well trained, we say we train them.
You know why I say so before our meeting? I say so because we also want to know the detail of how many Chinese are in those projects and their expertise. We want to know those details because our laws of our country must be defended and protected in terms of local content law. We must know those details in going forward. So the staffs of the Ministry of Transportation, you know what to provide to the minister at the end of the day.